Hello, in this demonstration, I am going to use cutouts in the style of Matisse to create an abstract piece. So earlier this week, I did recognizable objects. Now I'm just going to go for simple shapes. I'm using a piece of file folder and I cut in from the edge. And I'm going to do 3 shapes. They're going to be squares with kind of wonky or wiggly edges. And I'm going to try and get maybe 3 different sizes of them. One. Matisse called this drawing with scissors. Okay, now I'll do a small one. All right, so you will wind up with, these are what you call negative shapes and positive shapes. I am going to start with my positive shapes, and you can do this on canvas, canvas board, Bristol or mixed media. You could do a stretched canvas, but I'm going to be using the brayer initially to paint with. And so if you have a stretched canvas, you're going to pick up that frame, which doesn't look really great. Okay. Let me just adjust this here. All right. So I'm going to, what's great about this is I can move these around until I get something that drops into place that I like. These can overlap. They kind of have a movement like falling paper. Laundry. Maybe it's laundry. I don't know. I'm going to have this one going off the page, this one overlapping a smidge, this one down here. So it buys you some time to work on your composition. Sorry, I want to get this right on the screen. Come on. Okay, now I'm going to lightly tape these down with some blue painter's tape. I've tried freehanding it, and the papers kind of, they just roll around. I don't want that. Okay. All right, and I'm going to try some new colors. I'm going to try this. It's called Saffron. It's by Charvin. It's a French company. Looks like it's going to be a little bit transparent, which is fine. And then I'm going to come in and just roll right over my shapes. And I'm not concerned that the color isn't going on, you know, perfectly solid and evenly. As a matter of fact, I kind of like that it's not. It's going to create other shapes going on in my picture that I think will lead to something else. They're interesting. So now I'm curving my brayer because I sort of see this sweep or this movement coming down and across the page. I can leave a little border if I want. I'm fine with that. Okay, now the magic moment. I pull these shapes off, and the file folders absorb paint, which I like. I could even possibly glue them on my painting or another work of art, so I'm not going to throw those away. Okay, so I've got my composition laid out. And now I have to make decisions like, what colors will I layer on here? And what will I do with these shapes? So I think I want to introduce some fine splatters. So this is where I could use my negative shape to mask off this area. I'm using a liquid black paint here and a toothbrush. Okay, I'll have to let that dry. And then I have a choice of this shape. Will the top shape, when I paint color in, will it overlap this shape, or will this little shape overlap that big shape, if that makes sense? Again, I can use my stencil to mask off and isolate, depending on which I want in front or in back. I think I'll have this one on top. Okay, and I'm going to go, what color? What color am I going to do? Actually, changed my mind. Remember what's front and back here. Oh my gosh. Okay, there. I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to try and go over this with a transparency. I want to see what happens. Now I could brayer over, or I'll probably just paint that in. And I'm going to use my silicone paintbrush. I have to hold this down firmly. Scraping across. I think I used the stencil incorrectly, but that's okay. I can even come in and add part or another one of these shapes. So I've got my main structure, and then I can start building in. I'm waiting for that to dry so I can bring a transparent color over. I think I'm going to use my Posca pen, Matisse style, to put some pattern in. And then when this is dry, I'm going to go over with a transparent color. I'm going to add another shape down here. I'm going to go blue. This time I'm going to try a brush. Maybe I'll get some texture in there. Again, holding this down firmly and whisking across. You want to hold it firmly, otherwise your paint might gloop underneath the stencil. Okay, so I added that. I think I'm going to add one more over here in red. Okay, so I'm playing with this. It's suggesting that this shape is behind this and that this is in front. Now I'm going to see if I can come over and add something transparent there. I'm going to go back to this anise color. Actually, I'm just going to freehand it. Okay. All right, so with this scraper, I can get a thin, transparent layer of this paint. Now, I don't know how, okay, it's dry enough. That works. All right, so I've got the basic composition of these shapes flowing down, outlined. I feel like I want to add something more to the background, maybe a slightly darker color. I've got this raw sienna. And I can brayer it in. I like the brayer because it's not fussy. It's not persnickety. Not loving it all that much, actually, now that I added it. So I'm doing a little bit of water to see if I can spread that out. Yep, not my favorite. Now I'm going to blot it. Okay. I'm going to come back directly with this. Okay. What else? Maybe thicker on here. Okay, I'm going to get radical on the background. And then I think I'm going to end. Don't love that raw sienna that I put in. I'm going to go completely take a left turn here. I'm going to go with this Prussian and dry brush over. Let's see what happens. This is very much the painting process. I'm either going to like it or not. I'm using a ratty house painting brush. This is Matisse in a storm. Matisse cutouts in a storm. Okay. Let's see. I'm just directly drawing with this tube of paint, lightly squeezing. I'm going to go more impasto over here. Okay, so now I push that underneath. I may change my mind, decide I want it back on top. I think so. So now I'm bringing it back. And I think I'm going to end right there.